You learned in your book about comparing amino acid sequences. And while that is very, very informative, what's even more informative that the author does not mention is comparing genomes. Now, what is a genome? I'm going to step out of the way here so that you can see this definition, because you will need to know this definition. A genome is the entire set of DNA instructions that are found in a cell. So it's not just a small piece of a chromosome, it's not just a small piece of a gene, it's actually the entire DNA that is contained in a cell. In 2004, the Human Genome Project was completed, and what that means is that they mapped the entire human genome, so they know, what traits are coded for on which sections of which chromosomes. Now, this was a huge project because in humans, our DNA is about 3 billion bases in length. Now, remember what DNA is composed of. It's composed of those nitrogenous bases, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. We have about 3 billion bases to get in our entire genome. The computers could only read between 75 and 1,200 bases at a time. So it was a matter of having to put all of these puzzle pieces together. And so a comparison to that would be like you have 10,000 boxes of the same puzzle. And so you pull a random handful of pieces from every box, and then you try to put the picture together. That would be a job. But eventually they were able to map the entire human genome. And then once they did that, then they tried to, now they're in the process of mapping genomes from other creatures as well. And so they tried to align the chimpanzee genome with the human genome because they were thinking that the chimpanzee may potentially be our closest evolutionary ancestor. Well, the problem was that we didn't have a complete picture of the chimpanzee genome. And so as they put it together, they were using the human genome as a pattern for the chimp genome. That would be like trying to put together a puzzle that has a picture of a chimpanzee on it, but having a picture on the front of the box that looks like a human. I don't know that that's going to be very helpful. Additionally, the chimp DNA was contaminated with human DNA from the researchers. Now, you may have heard, because this has been out in the media, that the chimp DNA actually has a 98% similarity with human DNA. That's really misleading because it's like comparing blue jeans with cut-off jean shorts. The rivets, the seams, the zipper, the pockets, they may all be the same, but they didn't compare the color or the brand or the quality of the fabric. So the researchers, basically what they did is, if this is the human DNA and this is the chimp DNA, they looked at this portion and this portion, and they said, oh, look, between these two portions, there's 98% similarity between the two of them. But they only compared this little piece, and there's all of this and all of this on both sides that they did not look at. They only pulled out these two pieces that were similar and said, look, 98% similarity. We're evolved from a chimp. When they actually, in 2013, they actually got the chimp DNA a little bit better organized, and so they know more what that chimp DNA looks like. There's actually only a genome similarity of about 70%. That's a far cry from the 98% that they were trying to tell us. So, while comparing amino acid sequences is very informative, comparing genomes is much more informative because we're comparing the entire set of DNA and just not little itty bitty pieces of it. And when we compare entire genomes, we find even less evidence that we are the descendants of apes.